as we get into the race, the Kentucky Derby slated to go off at approximately 7:01 Eastern time come Saturday. And gentlemen, as you are well aware, being on the MyRacehorse Handicapping Roundtable show, Authentic. He's drawn post position number 18. He's the furthest most post position. And while Tiz the Law is drawn directly inside of him, and while post position number 17 has never won the Kentucky Derby, I think I would have to say that this is indeed a different kind of kettle of fish, knowing that we've got one starting gate that is comprised of stalls. So, Caleb, I'm going to ask you, in looking at the pace dynamic and how this sets up, where do you see Authentic scheme of things? And in the end game, who do you see winning the Kentucky Derby and why?
Well, I like the setup, Sarge, with all the favorites on the outside. They're going to basically keep close surveillance on each other, and I think they're going to run it like it is basically a three-horse race with Honor AP, Tiz the Law, and Authentic. But, Authentic with Bob Baffert, he's so naturally quick that if he does get a good dispatch, I don't see why necessarily, especially if King Guillermo ends up coming out, why he couldn't just, take the reins over. He's got those long legs and a super high cruising speed for Bob Baffert. And I was wondering a couple of years back, I was thinking, Into Mischief is pretty much the fastest sire out there. We know that. But right. I couldn't think of too many Into Mischiefs that Bob Baffert had until the last couple of seasons. And now he's got two, Gamine, as well as Authentic. So this is kind of a match made in heaven to give such a fast sire to a trainer that brings out more speed in a thoroughbred than we've ever seen before. So it's a great position to be in. But I do think that Tiz the Law loves sitting third. And I think that Honor AP might be a little bit better suited to pull off. So it's a tough task from the 18 post, but Authentic has certainly got the speed to clear off and be the leader here in this race.
Yeah, it's interesting. The fact that Into Mischief Smith is a stallion that has evolved from a 7,500 stallion to 175,000 and beyond, and is proving to be a sires of sires, namely with Golden Center in the same stallion barn. Spendthrift Farm and a partnership with the horse. We've got Matic Starlight. Again, with Authentic and where he's drawn, you would think it would be go time. Bob Baffert has won 2 of the last 5 Kentucky Derbies, both of which consisted and ended up being Triple Crown winners. And then Johnny Velazquez. And when you look at riders, and going to Scotty on this one, in regards to your program, so to speak, you talk about your win rate at 36%. When you factor in riders, a new rider on a horse who hasn't been aboard. Now, mind you, Authentic is one with Braden Van Dyke, Money Mike Smith. How do you see Johnny Velazquez, who's won 2 of the last 9 Kentucky Derbies, see him fitting Authentic, and how does that play into your handicapping?
Well, the jockey definitely plays into our numbers, and Authentic is 11%, which I think is the second highest win percentage we have. That being said, guys, I think there's a little bit more speed in this race than we think. King Guillermo, like Caleb was saying, is going to be out because of a fever, but Authentic from that 18 post is going to have to ask a little bit. And I'm not sure Tiz the Law's jockey's just going to let him just go and cruise right by him, because he's pretty fast himself. Honor AP is pretty fast, although I agree, I think he's going to sit back. But I think Authentic's going to have to ask a little bit. And guys, I'm not entirely sure that Authentic wants to go 10 furlongs.
Now, the big question, and Caleb, obviously being the pedigree guru that you are, I've done my research, and, being out of a mare, Flawless, who was by Mr. Greeley, immediately you stand up and ask yourselves, does this horse have the capability? The one thing to consider, that Flawless herself was out of a Wild Again mare. Well, before Caleb was born, I don't think you were born in 1984. I think beyond Caleb, giving you a lot of credit. But Wild Again, of course, won the first Breeders' Cup Classic, and Classic being the classic distance. So, Caleb, distance-wise, do you think Authentic is at a stretch optimum at 1.25 miles?
Well, speed keeps on going downhill. And if you have the speed to be the leader at the top of the stretch, just close your eyes and thinking about a Bob Baffert being the leader at the top of the stretch that has a lot of talent. And, you've only got to be running for another 25 seconds. So to be in that position with that downhill speed, we've seen plenty of horses that maybe couldn't get the distance. A horse like Good Magic. In my mind, Good Magic, that was a little bit long, still had the class to hold second. So there's been, occasions where a horse that maybe wasn't ideal for 1.25 miles still had the class and the ability to be a major contender in the race. And Into Mischief one of these days is going to get his Kentucky Derby. Let's see if it's on Saturday. But I saw earlier this meet at Saratoga, they did the sire standings. So Into Mischief had 11 winners at Saratoga. The next best sire, it was a tie at 6. So Into Mischief had almost doubled up the next sire for winners at Saratoga. So we saw Owendale last year start to potentially stretch out that pedigree with a heck of a run in the Preakness, and also got a big graded stakes score. So history tells us that there's been a lot of sires that, wow, the distance capability, they got more speed and stamina. And we've also learned that when the right horse comes along, that speed stamina mix can go all the way to the wire in the Kentucky Derby. So it's going to happen one of these days for Into Mischief. Let's see if it happens on Saturday.
All right, Scotty, in reference to where you landed as far as your formulated opinion via program, and obviously you've come to this AI in a sense that you put a lot of your algorithms and such together that will come to a final number. I'm a big fan of the Scotty Longshot. You and I have been friends a very long time, and we've actually had quite a few scores together, I must say. So let's talk Derby pick and a ticket, for example, as I gave both you and Caleb a little bit of a homework assignment to come up with, and you in particular with an exacta. So who's your top pick, why, and how can we make some money the first Saturday in September?
Well, guys, I think that Tis the Law. I think that, first of all, aside from Tis the Law, I think this is the weakest Kentucky Derby group I've probably ever seen. I think, and that's surprising considering that these 3-year-olds have had a chance to mature. And I would have thought that there would be a lot stronger group. And the fact that we're going to only have probably 17 entering the gate this Saturday, I was a little surprised. I think Tis the Law is absolutely dominating. I really do. I don't think it's even close. I think the horse is going to cruise, going to sit back out. I think Authentic's probably going to be on the lead, but I do think Authentic's going to stop down the stretch, and I don't even see Authentic being in the money personally. So, but just in case, very talented. Bob Baffert knows how to get them ready. I thought an exacta would be Tis the Law, number 17, over 2, 12, 15, and 16. But I'll tell you what, guys, Max Player, the 2-horse, do not ignore Max Player. This horse is lightly raced, and don't be surprised, Max Player. I'm going to do an extra, a little bit more of an exacta on Tis the Law over Max Player, the 2.
Well, I love the fact you're taking a stand. You do realize that this is the MyRacehorse handicapping roundtable, but this is all about opinions, and I appreciate the fact that you speak strength of that opinion. You know, there are several skeptics that don't feel that Authentic can get the distance, and the word
against Authentic necessarily, Nick, just so you know,
right?
But as a handicapper, I'm just giving my opinion.
Absolutely, and that's why we have you here, Scotty. And I can tell you that I appreciate your frankness in a sense that you've got a plan. You're going to take it as an approach that Tis the Law is far and away the most talented, best horse in the field, and you're going to stick to your guns. So, Caleb, referencing your top selection, you put together and assembled a trifecta. We didn't have to augment and take out a Camel because he wasn't included in that. So, with your trifecta, tell us about your key and your analyses of Tis the Law and being your top selection for that Kentucky Derby at 1.25 miles.
Well, I mean, there's been plenty of stories of the favorite winning the Kentucky Derby and still everything paying very lucrative underneath. Now, I don't think we've seen a 3 to 5 favorite potentially win this race, but one horse I'm really intrigued by, I do like Tis the Law on top. That's the best looking horse I've ever seen walk off a van. I mean, I didn't even see him on the track, right? When he came off the van at Churchill, looked like an Adonis and absolutely incredible in the flesh. Now, I do think that my long shot in this race is Sole Volante. And I kept on trying to figure out, why did they go to that allowance 10 days before Belmont, and then they won the race, and they still didn't know if they wanted to go. They took the trip up there, and the whole thing was a wreck. And what I figured out as I watched a little bit more, I don't think that Sole Volante was just right. You know, he kind of drifted out a little bit, which he'd never done in that win at Gulfstream. I think that he had a tiny little issue. It wasn't enough to prevent him from winning the allowance. And I think that's why B and Cohn kind of half-heartedly went up to Belmont and noticed that they put the front wraps on him, and he ran very disappointing. But small horses don't do well at Belmont. He's on 10 days. It's a long plane ride plus then a van ride into Belmont to face Tis the Law, who was never going to lose that race anyway. So Sole Volante, what I like about him is the fact that he surveys the group very well. He's got such a good understanding of the group and where he's at. I think he's got the best sensory system in this race. And now he comes in super fresh. Check out that 57 work. I know it's on the turf, but B and Cone works all of his horses on the turf. 57, that tells me this horse is getting good right now. Everybody's jumped off the wagon after the Belmont. So I've got him in there as the 12. I look to the inside, Enforceable. He's showing himself well in the mornings. The 7, as we go more towards the inside, Money Moves. He's lightly raced, but I feel like he's better than people think. And then we get to the 13, Attachment Rate for Dale, who I thought took a sneaky step up. And then we'll get the favorites in there as well, including, I think, a horse that I'm going to key in New York Traffic. One word I would use to describe New York Traffic is rhythm. He's just got this beautiful long rhythm where he just keeps going and going and going. And what you have to like about New York Traffic as a player, he doesn't get his feelings hurt when he loses, right? So he's kind of content tagging along for the ride, second and third, whereas these other horses that are used to winning, something's got to crack here a little bit in this race, right? Not all these horses coming off wins can cross the wire first. So New York Traffic is the one that I think can go along for the ride, and Sole Volante is a horse I think can make this trifecta pay. So $42, but we are going to key the favorite up on top.
Well, I love the fact that you talk some long shot potential, and being that this is hashtag My Authentic Derby, I'm a homer. I feel looking at various numbers, not only with Scotty's program at Equine Edge, you is using those numbers to my advantage, but other sheets, if you will. I've come to the conclusion that My Authentic Derby is how it's going to end up for me. So you can call me a homer. I see a gate to wire score. Tis the Law, I think, will have to have his running shoes on because Authentic is at the peak of his game. So I'm staying the course there. But guess what, gentlemen? I'm going to take some snippets of your long shots that you placed in, and hopefully at the end of the day, I'll have a winning day, because with Tis the Law being keys on your tickets, he needs to win. And I think it's going to be one hell of a horse race when it's all said and done. So Caleb Keller of TVG, my salute goes out to you. And, above all, I'm just so appreciative of having you in my life as a friend, and our camaraderie at TVG, and Scotty McKeever as well. Scotty, quickly, where can folks out there in My Racehorse land find your product at Equine Edge?
Thank you, Nick. Yeah, you can go to equineedge.com and you can sign up there for free. And it's easy to do.
It's a wonderful wagering tool, another opportunity to kind of treat your handicapping, tools kindly, if you will. We need as many tools in our handicapping toolbox as we can get. So, Caleb, Scotty, this truly has been a privilege, gentlemen. Enjoy your Derby weekend, and thanks for coming on the Handicappers Roundtable here with My Racehorse.
Thank you. I'll have fun.
Thank you very much.